with Baird and reviewed the numbers. We also verified them on DPI. We have less enrollment than we anticipated, right, for resident-based enrollment, and therefore we do qualify for the exemption. And so therefore, that's why we believe that we're getting that amount back in the exemption.
Yeah, and I guess just to be clear, my question is not that we're entitled to some, but are we confirmed that 233,000 is the number? Because again, we counted on a bigger number before and it wasn't. Yeah?
I can verify that and give you an exact amount, and also get back to you on that, Joanne. So I will take that as a question here.
Yeah, and understand it's only because we had this issue before that we were under the assumption that 375 was granted to us, and we didn't find out it was rolled back to 77 until April.
Yeah.
So that's a problem if we're spending it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it still makes sense to approve it in the revised budget today, but Joanne's point is solid as far as maybe we can understand last year what triggered the deduction from the original quoted amount to the lower amount. So if we know what those triggers are, we could better plan for them.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a great question.
It's certainly a fair question, Joanne, and I can go back, just as Danielle was saying, and see what happened in the previous year, why that difference in the exemption amount why it came in lower, and also verify, do additional verification so that we anticipate this amount to be correct. And if we do need to make any budget revisions based on that, we can certainly, at that time, right, based on the information that we verify, move forward with that. But at this time, it's the best information that we have. But great question. Thank you, Jen.
That makes really good sense, and I'm all completely 100% on board. I do have a concern, though, so at the annual meeting, there was a difference in the total revenue collected versus our total budget, and it left us with a positive. I looked at it last time. I said I thought it was 22,000, but it was 13. So this revised budget includes that 233,000, and it shows that our total expenditures are the exact same amount. So again, my concern is just making sure that we have that money before we approve spending it.
And that's a fair consideration. And you're right, the amounts compared to the September data that we have to now in October, it has increased, and that's because now our categorical aid came in, the October equalized value information came in, and so based on all of those factors, we adjusted slightly our budget to account for that.
Okay.
Anything else that you want to point out, Jorge, on the revised budget?
Looking at, just big picture with the revised budget, open enrollment, we are certainly receiving a lot more open enrollment in, right? And that's been a major impact on our budget. We do have contracted services for open wings that, is money that also, right, we're supporting that school district in a sense by the services, and that offsets itself. So that's also been accounted for within the budget as well. Fund 50, also you'll notice a change there, so it's balancing out. We anticipate, not to have a deficit at year end, and so that's why you see that fund a bit more supplemented than in September. So we want to make sure that we have a balanced budget there, and that is our goal, is to be, fiscally conservative, to apportion resources where they make the most student impact, and to have a balanced budget along the way. Priority for Michelle and myself is to have a culture at Bristol where we are, sitting down, meeting with department heads, looking at budgets more frequently, and adjusting and course correcting, and also figuring where we need to tighten up so that, along the year, right, we're in better position financially through each quarter, and then at the end of the year have less surprises.
Yep,
That's
and
good.
and on
Love
that
that.
note, I'd just like to add, Jorge and I talked about just a stop date. And I'm not saying this maybe wasn't in place before, but a stop date at the end of March where all major purchases are made, so that we're not having unless there's an emergency, but major purchases coming in where we are unable to close out our budget at the end of June. And then we're back in that spot where we can't come up with a preliminary budget in a timely manner.
That sounds like a great plan.
The other thing I'd add, Michelle, thank you for that comment, is, we want to look at contracts, existing contracts. We want to just review them, review what we have, make sure that as we assess those, we're not duplicating any services, evaluate, needs, right? Priorities. So contract revision is also area of focus for us this year.
Okay, good.
All right. So I will make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 revised budget as presented. Seeking a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
I grudgingly, only because I like those numbers to be firm.
Nicole, did you say aye?
I'll say aye.
All right, motion carries, or I'm sorry, any nays? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to 4B, 2025-2026 tax levy resolution and certification. I will make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 tax levy resolution and certification. And if I get a second, then I would go.
I just have a quick question. I'm actually kind of confused on why the numbers went down. If I can have a better clarification on that.
Yes, thank you for that question. So the numbers on the tax levy resolution, would it be okay if I share my screen for a moment so we can go through those? Okay.
I think you should have permission to do that.
Okay, I think so. Let's give this a try. Okay, so here we are. And okay. So it should be sharing my screen there, right? Okay, and if we look at just the calculation on that, so that's a great question there, Nicole. So the way that the levy amount is calculated, right? We have our 3 municipalities, so Kenosha, Bristol, and Village of Pleasant Prairie. We have our TID in and TID out values. We, as a participating school district within those municipalities, have a percentage amount within those. So the percentage amount, if we look at Kenosha, it's 22.72. There's much longer digits on here, but I rounded them out to the 2 decimal points just for presentation sake here. And then 58.53% Bristol, Village of Pleasant Prairie 18.74, which then gets us our 100% total equalized TID values. When we're looking at those amounts and they're calculated by mill rate, we get the actual figures here, which is per municipality, what we anticipate to receive in tax levy amounts. And so that is where we get our totals. As I understand it, the valuation of property values has to do with growth within those municipalities and how they interplay with these percentages and how that factors into that. So our major source being Bristol, we didn't see as much growth percentage wise as we anticipated. There is some growth there, but not as much to our level that we anticipated. We are keeping the mill rate flat at $4.70 per mill rate per 1,000, and that's how those are calculated. But to answer your question, Nicole, they did not have as much growth as we anticipated to see with those values.
Jorge, can I just ask, I'm assuming that we had to use kind of a best guess at the annual meeting, and then now you've gotten confirmation from those areas for.
Is that what happened?
Yes, that is correct. So the equalized values were came out in October, and we had our meeting in September. So
Yes.
we had a best estimate at that point, and they were fairly close. But the growth that we anticipated to see was not as high, and so that's why those came in lower.
Yeah,
That
it's-
makes sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor. Just need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, so Resolution A, adoption of the tax levy. Best it resolved as the, Danielle, do you want to read that?
Sure, I'll do it for you.
All right,
Be it resolved that a tax for the operation and maintenance of the Bristol School District in the amount of $5,444,070 for the general fund, $50,000.28 for the non-referendum debt, and a tax debt retirement in the amount of $2,168,393 for a total of $7,602,491 to be levied upon the taxable property of the Bristol School District for the year of 25-26.
all right, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any nays? Motion carries 5-0. 4C is the Business Officer Credit Card Authorization Resolution Form. I'll turn that
All right.
over to you, Michelle.
Okay, thank you. So the current company that the district credit card, the district business credit card is issued through, Jorge has been working to try to become the manager of that account. He's tried several different times, correct, Jorge? I have tried to intervene. The company is requesting that we give them board minutes to show proof that you have approved us to authorize being managers of this account. So I am recommending that the board approve the authorization of Jorge Mayorga and Michelle Schmidt, the district's business manager and the district's administrator, to authorize TCM board to make any type of changes to the district's business credit card account and to manage the account. So again, we need to get some employees off that are no longer employed by the district. Their credit cards were surrendered. They have not used those credit cards since they were employees. But we need to get those people off the account, and we have some new employees who need access for P card purchases in their roles. And we need to add them, but we can't do any of that until we've got proof that we are authorized by the board to do that.
So I just have a question about it because I know we had a meeting where Ibram explained the credit card dilemma with us, and it sounded like there were individual cards, but the form that's on our thing says it's a business account. Seems like it kind of acts as one, but
It's my understanding it's a business account under the school district, but then each person that we authorize gets what's called a P card, so they can make purchases. And there's a total limit on that account, and Jorge and myself can grant individuals, we can have the bank grant individuals certain limits. So somebody like the school secretary, Marie Gallagher, would need a bigger limit than, say, possibly Jorge, because she's somebody that is constantly purchasing things for teachers.
sure. I guess I thought out of that meeting that it was not actually a business account, but it looks like it is. So giving you control then gives you access to dispute a charge, add or delete customers, employees.
Yep. Look into, because Joanne, in our meeting, right, there are some rewards tied to this account, but we can't even access those rewards until we know, until we have authority to talk to the company about it.
Does this also give you access to see what's spent on each card, like as far as every purchase?
Yeah, and right now Jean does get a bill every month, so she can see the charges. But what Jorge and I would like to do is really sit down and figure out, going back to subscription services, how many subscription and annual subscriptions are tied to these cards? How many are we still using? And again, we can't necessarily close this account to look at other potential credit cards accounts until we know what's going on there with the subscriptions.
Okay.
And that's good context, Michelle, because since I started reaching out to this company, I believe they're out in Florida, so it's not someone local that I can go to and just say, hey, this is what we need. So that's been a bit of a struggle. And then also having the access to maintain, right? So it's, they needed us to supply them minutes, so of us being as the authorized personnel that can manage those accounts. Evidently I sent them when Michelle was hired as district administrator, when I was hired as school business manager, but that did not suffice. They wanted something directly linking us to this TCM account. And so that's the reason, for their request. We are open to, what is best for the district, right? So if that means there are some, other credit card accounts out there that, perhaps, right, plus and minuses we'd have to look at and evaluate. But as Michelle was saying, there are currently some rewards tied to the current that we're looking at today, and so we need to find out what those are as well, so that we take advantage of those, and then potentially in the future look at some other options, or if we stay with this current provider, right, for services, but that way we have that evaluative process afterwards.
Yeah, this is more of a transition issue, right? To get you guys authorized to do it. And then I think we can kind of ask some of the more in-depth questions. How is it being used? Looking at the subscriptions. So to me, this is pretty much, hey, let's get them transitioned so that the analysis can start, and more controls for Michelle and Jorge can be put across that and let us know what those look like.
That's exactly it. And currently, Sue, the previous business manager, is the only account, maintenance person on this. And we're requesting both Michelle and I, so that there's always, two people. Right?
Let's get this under control by giving you guys the authorization, is my feeling.
Okay. Then I'm going to make a motion to approve the authorization of Jorge Mayora and Michelle Schmidt to authorize TCM Bank to make any type of administrative changes for our credit card.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to 4D, 2025-2026 Employee Health, Dental, and Vision Benefits.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for putting that spreadsheet together. It gives a lot of information and makes it a lot clearer.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you.
It was wonderful.
Okay. Great. Well, and as you know, for those of you who are listening, we did have a board workshop where we reviewed health insurance options. So from all of the information that we have, I'm going to read the following recommendation. And please, if you have questions, feel free to ask. But I am going to recommend that the Bristol School District continue to contract with the Wisconsin County Association Group Health Trust as the district's employee health carrier, using their proposed health insurance service plan, which is option 1 on that table. They are coming in at a 12.5% renewal rate for the calendar year of 2026. The district plan would remain intact, with the district continuing to fund 92% of the premiums and the employees continuing to fund, and I apologize, I'm at my daughter's house and my grandchild is having a meltdown, continuing to fund, no. I'm so sorry.
It happens.
Is continuing, so the employees continuing to fund 8% of the premiums. No changes to deductibles or co-pays are recommended at this time. And we discussed this a little bit at our health insurance workshop. Regarding the dental plan, I am recommending to renew the district's employee dental plan with Delta Dental. The carrier has offered a 0% renewal increase at this time. And then regarding vision, I'm recommending that the board renew the district's employee vision insurance plan with Delta Vision. The district does not cover any of the cost of this plan. Employees will see an average of a 7.8% increase in their cost, depending on how many dependents they enroll in the plan. And again, my apologies that Miss Evelyn had a meltdown there.
I've been there. Do we want to do 3 separate motions or combine, Tina?
I would probably do them separately.
Okay.
Where does the healthiest you come into this? Is that next? Okay.
So Joanne, that's a great question. So our Healthiest You renewal is not up until January of 2026.
Got it.
So we can continue to take a look at that.
Perfect.
That is an option.
Yeah, I think that definitely could be something if November's meeting has space, or December at the latest.
Mhm.
Sooner than later if we have the room on the November agenda. But there's a lot to consider with Healthiest You. And I'm still kind of wrestling with all that. And thank you for the emails that you guys have been sending with more breakdowns of costs and data along the way.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that information as well. It was helpful when I was reviewing it and getting my arms around it. So,
You're welcome. It's a lot to process. So
yeah.
A lot of moving parts,
mhm.
for sure.
maybe, is it okay if I do dental first? Do we have any questions about dental?
I have no questions.
Okay, but I'm just gonna make a motion to approve Delta Dental's plan for the upcoming year.
All right, seeking a second. For that.
Oh,
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carries 5-0.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
I don't know.
Joanne.
Tina and I tied.
Joanne did, because Tina said, do I have a second? So I think it's Joanne.
Oh, got it.
Yep. It's hard on the audio anyway.
Right.
All right, I will make a motion to approve the vision insurance plan with Delta Vision, seeking a second.
I'll second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Motion carries 5-0. And then I will make a motion to adopt Michelle's recommendation of continuing the contract with Wisconsin County Association Group Health Trust. Seeking a second in that.
I'll second that.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Any nays? Nicole, did you say aye?
Yeah.
Okay. Any nays on that? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
All right. Time is now.
Did we also have to vote on the district paying the entire increase? Or is that part of that lump sum?
That
I'm
was
fine
part of.
either way.
that
I'm
was
sorry.
part of-
That was part of the motion to continue the current
her recommendation.
contributions.
I think as we discussed in the workshop, that's something that we can explore. And I think we need more data around for the following time to come. I
Well,
agree.
there was a couple of things in that workshop that I'm sure, well, we'll just check with Dr. Schmidt and Jorge there, is that making sure that the communication on how to use those policies, right, the benefits within those policies more efficiently. And then two, that the communication is that the board, the district cannot continue to absorb that much. And going forward, there's got to be a fair, equitable split of this.
Yep. And as we discussed, Jorge had budgeted for this particular renewal,
Yeah, he
which
did.
is a major reason I am recommending that we stay status quo. We also did receive input from our staff around this. So taking into account their thoughts on this matter. But yes, we do need to create a committee to take a look at the sustainability of how we are going to offer benefits and the contributions of both the district and employees moving forward, for sure.
Yeah, I'll just go on record and say it's not sustainable.
It's not. We all know it's not.
Absolutely not.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the common theme that we all talked about in the worksheet too, or workshop too, is that this is a wonderful and much important benefit. It's a moral
Absolutely.
one, having healthcare coverage, but we're having a healthcare issue at a national level, and it's certainly trickling down, and we're all feeling it at this realm. So we're certainly going to have more conversations about it. But glad we can get this renewal done. So.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Time is now 12:26. I would like to make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, everyone.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's good
Thank
to see
you
you
all
all.
for your time today. Have a good day.
Have a
You
good day.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.